Alright, so this is again a re-recording because my mic was not working at the time that I recorded this video, so thus there is no audio. So this is just a dub of what I have done. So I'll head over into Unity and show you what I've done. So now what we're in this video, we were meant to set up a camera, right? So what I did was I came into my scripts folder and I right click, create a new C# script, and I called it camera controller, and I attached it onto the main camera. So then you can open that up in your editor. And now if I were to head over to camera controller, yep. Basically what we do here is we basically just say we want a reference to our player, but we don't want reference to a game object player. We want reference to its transform, because anything that has to do with setting position is related to the transform. Because what we wanted to do right here is we wanted to set our transform dot position to the player's transform. But the thing that the problem that this line would cause is that the camera would be inside of the player, because if we're setting our transform exactly to its transform, then it'll be inside of that game object, and we don't want that. So we create a serialized field private vector 3, and we call it offset. Now what is a vector 3? Because I'm sure many of you don't know that. So if you look into this position, the transform, you can see a position, x value, y value, and z value. And x, y, z together make a vector 3. Now a vector 3 only exists in a 2D game. In a 3D, what am I saying? It only exists in a 3D game because 2Ds don't have the z axis. 2D games only have the x and the y value. So we're basically just saying we want a vector 3 for the offset, and we add that offset to our player's position. So that would end up giving us a nice little offset. And I had set the offset to y. The y value is going to be 1, so it's slightly above the player, and the z value will be -5, so slightly behind the player. And yeah, it's a very easy camera script, just setting our camera's position to the player's camera position with an offset. And then in the player controller, we give it some more options. We set it up so that the keyboard.current.akey.wasPressedThisFrame is also there. And what this does is it checks if we press the A key, it'll add a force of the sideways force, and the sideways force is 2000. I've set that by default. And rb.addForce minus the sideways force, because if I go over to this add force, it takes in a float x. This is what we're setting on the x. This is the x, this is the y, and this is the z. And the x-axis is aimed towards the right by default. If you look at this red line, it's aimed towards the right based on relative to our camera. So we have to, if we wanted to make it go left, we have to give it -2000, minus the sideways force. And for the D key, we just put normal sideways force, and don't forget to multiply by time.delta time. And another thing I've been meaning to fix for a while is change this from was pressed this frame to is pressed. There we go. It's much simpler, and it just returns a boolean value on if it was pressed, and not checks it was it pressed this frame. It's much more performance. So is pressed. There we go. And if I were to save this, head over into Unity. Sorry if my voice is a little soft right now. And if I were to hit play, there we go. We can move sideways, we can move in front, we can dodge this, and we also fall back down. That's very nice. Sorry for the pre-record, but anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Please tell me if you were still able to understand this video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments, and I'll answer as many as I possibly can. And my computer's fan is going mad, so I think I'm gonna end the recording here. Goodbye, have a nice day.